Greetings, all Africans. We are hosts of Akan, Akbar the first of the only maroon monarchy in the world, African monarchy. We want to make this very briefly, and we want to talk about what has happened to us in our past. Most people that know us know about this, and we are probably talking to the, as they say, the choir on some of this stuff. We have been for 27 years, 28 years now, in a legal battle, trying to clear our name for being not only falsely accused, falsely convicted, and falsely imprisoned for a rape that we did not do, that everybody in our circle at that time knew that we didn't do. The sad thing about it is that it was a kin person that was convinced by their father to put the blame on us versus them. Their father went on to rape other young girls, have relations with 16, 15-year-old girls. And they went to prison. And they died in prison, in a Texas prison. We want to make this short, briefly. This has been plaguing us, but not only us, other African men, in our community. All of these things are coming out about the victims. But what's not talked about is victims of being falsely accused. We are one of them, believe it or not. You probably seen our videos, probably seen our books, read our books, purchased our books and whatnot. And some of you already know this. We put this information out years ago on the newafricanvodoon.com website, and it was in the form of an article. We were not doing as much video at that time. People's attention span is very different now. They're not reading. And we realized that we realized people were contacting us and did not even read a very important article about this, about ourselves. Forgive us for that delay. They were not even paying attention to a very important article that we posted about our experience with the justice system and how we were railroaded. Once again, some people may get this, some may not. The snake that happened, when we say snake, like the spiral that happened with our case is quite amazing. Not unusual, but quite amazing. We were falsely accused, falsely incarcerated. We got out. We did time. And we found out that this victim, which was a family member, confessed that it was not us. From there, we had to find out who it was. because it still was a battle with that. And we found out it was her father. And so her father, we find out a few years later, 2, 3 years later, he was locked up for molesting a child that of the next woman he was with. We were locked in with the original conviction. Now, we didn't know everything about the law at the time. We were young. What we know now, we wish we would have knew. There was no DNA. No DNA. Everything in our case was the words of a 9-year-old child. Now, mind you, we have no case like that before that or after that. And we know there are predators that don't even have cases, so, but we're just saying that. And this is what we're battling right now. You know. So we're teaching the truth of Odun and Isheshe and real African culture, but we're facing this issue. Now, this video may get in the hands of lawyers, paralegals, people that know somebody, you know, that can help us, and please do. Our email is ekaabokilombo@gmail. EKAAKILOMBO@gmail.com. We've gone through many years of ridicule, having to actually register. Imagine going from conviction to being a king, a priest and a king, but you still gotta register. Imagine that. Now, scale it on whatever level that, you know, a person can relate it to. But just imagine that. And this is what we've dealt with. Of course, in this process, you deal with prejudgment. You know, people judge you based on what they think they know about you. And, you know, these are random thoughts at this point. It's like, people will support causes, right? People like you know personally, right? They will support a cause. They don't know nothing about that person. They don't know them, period. And they will be marching, chanting, if they're in the culture, right, in so-called Isheshe of Odun or whatever, and the Kom tradition of the Akan people, Odinani of Igbo, they will be doing rituals like, hey, let's free this person. They don't know them. But the person that they know personally, they don't do those rituals for. What is wrong with our people? Something is not right. Something is not right. But this video is to let you all know who I am, what has happened to me, you know. Because these are times. Uka Azi, according to Igbo cosmology, the worst of the times. That's what Uka Azi means. So imagine experiencing the worst of the times within the worst of the times. Imagine that. Somebody say, well, how can you laugh with all this you're facing? Because we have to go to the next level of this. We were put here for a particular destiny. We were put here to alter the distorted view of our people and to provide, as Elijah Muhammad even said, the clean glass versus the dirty glass of water. Okay, that's one thing. But we're also here to show the power and the significance of what we call, in the phone language, fosa. We call it in Yoruba, ebo. And that's usually translated as sacrifice. There are people that have come here to this world to be Ewo, or Ebo, Frijimi. Frijimi means excuse us. Not Ewo, but Ebo. There are people that have come to be sacrifice to the world. That does not mean they have to suffer. Especially when they sacrifice themselves for the community, for the people, for the world, if you will. In our case, we've had people, we want to back up a little bit. We've had people to help us along the way to try to clear our name of these things that they know that we did not do. But it's been legal issue after legal issue after legal issue after legal issue. A DA dying, literally. The former lawyer that sold us out, dying. And some other stuff with him. Pete Pellucci is his name. Judges passing away. DAs, a lot of people don't know what happens behind the scenes when you are battling a case or you got a lawsuit in. This is not a lawsuit, but we found out from other people that this happens a lot of time with people that have lawsuits. All these things happen, they drag things out. And so here we are, still with this thing on our record. One thing we noticed when we looked up and researched this thing, people that have cases of rape or child molestation or whatever, they have a record before and after that. And that's interesting because before and after, that means they are allowed to stay out. If you look at our record, we have not that. We were set up. And it's sad that we have to make a video about this. It really is. It really is. There are people that are doing the craziest things out here in the world, and they're good. People that have admitted to being pedophiles on video. And they were given time. They admitted it, they did this, probably given like 100 and something years. And their followers still support them and say they're innocent in face of the video where they admitted this. In our case, sadly, we protected the person that falsely accused us. They were a little girl at the time, and we had an ex to say, the former queen of Gunlola, as a matter of fact, she wanted to pursue her, and I had compassion. Right now, I don't have compassion. I don't, and I should have probably listened to her. This young lady that has admitted that I did not do this, we need to track her down. And sadly, it's a, someone that's some kin to me, Now, we don't know how this video will be taken, but hey, y'all watch videos all day of people doing all kind of crazy stuff. We've seen a video recently of a guy that's been promising a African independent school for 4 years. He makes a commercial in an abandoned building, and people are believing him. They're saying that this is the school. It's obviously abandoned building. He's been playing this game for years. Malachi York, has molested children ever since the 80s, maybe the 70s, and they have followings. And Malachi York admitted to doing those things. So, we wonder if we can get any kind of support. Believe us or not. It's a lot of other stuff you believe. But we can tell you for a fact that this is, we've been falsely accused, falsely imprisoned previously for this back in the 90s. And what's ironic is that we were still confirmed by the oracle. That's the difference between us and a lot of the frauds. We were confirmed by an oracle, or several oracles, that said we were legitimate to be a hosu, to be king, to be leader. So for those that's in the culture watching this, pay attention. Check your oracles. Not just with us. Check your oracles. If you got an issue with somebody, check the oracle. If you want to, something ain't right, or you feel like it ain't right, check the oracle. See what the oracle has to say. Don't just automatically be jumping and believing people, or believing the bad stuff about people. It's funny because the bad stuff tends to dominate. Oh, he threw a rock in the 7-Eleven, I don't know, something like that, and all of his or her charity work or whatnot is not acknowledged before that, and we're going to wrap this video up very soon. We had a friend, a good friend of ours, back in Mobile, Alabama, who was killed by some guys. And those guys killed him based on the drama that was created with this particular, can't say woman because we was teenagers, a female, a teenager, you know. But she knew better. She knew what she was doing. She knew who she was pitting people against. And my friend, interestingly enough, let's back up. All of us were cool. But my friend that got killed was my friend. And so these people came out in the courts in Mobile, Alabama, and tried to deny their part in his murder. You know, and it was at this stadium, as a matter of fact. We forget what high school was playing, but we were in high school at that time. And they lied. These young girls, 17 years old, whatever they were, they lied and got this man killed. And this continues to this day. And we're not saying that they are not victims, female victims. There are male victims also. There are victims. But at some point, this has to stop. Because right now, 20-something years later, I am trying to battle something that had nothing to do with me. No DNA testing or whatever. And now I got to still deal with it. And the person that did this to her, the reason why she might still be messed up is because they're not here now. So how do we handle this? You know, and that's a diplomatic statement. How do we handle this? Because let's say a serial killer or whatever is coming through the neighborhood, you could say somebody else did it, right? And they arrest that somebody and they take that somebody to jail. The real serial killer, the one that's really causing havoc, is still out here to do the craziness. So we don't know how many people out there are doing the victim thing when it's really something else. But people need to fess up. Fess up. Because people are going to jail for stuff that they did not do. Things are being exaggerated. And unfortunately, it's usually by the females. So, that's our story in brief. We know it's going to be some backlash. If you do backlash, do facts. Do facts. Deal with the facts. That's all we say. So, email ekabo.kilumbo.com at gmail.com rather. EKAAKILOMBO at gmail.com. ekabo.kilumbo at gmail.com. So, think about it. Odigba.